We come to the end of the fourth book of the Torah, the book of Bamidbar, the book of Numbers. And this week we have a double parsha, Matot-Masei. And in Parshat Masei, this last parsha of the book of Numbers, we find a list of the stops that the children of Israel made along the way from the time we left Egypt until arriving where we are now on the shores of the Jordan River. And it's so interesting because the Torah is really a book about the destination. From the time that God called Abraham, we knew that the destination is Canaan, the land of Israel, right? And from the time the children of Israel leave Egypt, they are on their way to Eretz Canaan, to Canaan, to the land of Israel. Stop by stop, piece by piece, we are heading towards Israel. It's not only a physical destination, but you could say the spiritual destination of the Jewish people. So interesting to find that at the very beginning of Parshat Masei, this list of all the stops along the way, we find Rashi communicate a midrash to us, which tells us the truism that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. True, we do need to end up in Eretz Israel, but this listing, why do we have this listing of all the stops along the way? And the midrash says, compares it actually to a father who has to take his child on a trip because the child is sick. And when they come back home, the father recounts the different stops along the way. Here's where we went at this time. Here's where you had a headache. Here's where the next thing happened. And he's recounting all of this. The journey of God and the Jewish people together through the wilderness, through the 40 years to arrive at Israel is a critical journey. It's not only about where we have to end up, it's about the journey with God. We can see this in so many different parts of our lives. Sometimes we feel like the destination is really the key, but looking around at who we're traveling with can be just as important for us, regardless of our age, regardless of our stage of life. We know that looking back on the stops along the journey is important. In this case, in Parshat Masei, it's a reminder of this close connection that the Torah communicates to us about the relationship between God and the Jewish people. Shabbat Shalom.